Hey YouTube, how's it going? How was your day? What did you do? I worked at home today and did lots of assignments that I didn't understand, and it was kind of a long day, but I'm glad to be done. So currently my husband is printing something on a 3D printer beside me, and we have three fans in this room because I have the door shut because he's with some friends, just like playing video games virtually. So hopefully the fans aren't super loud because there's three facing at two facing at the printer so it doesn't overheat, and then like one facing me. So hopefully it doesn't bug all my friends. Hi, Jenny. Thank you for lurking. Hi, Lisa and Lori and Monica. Hello, so many friends. I love this. Hi, Gary. Hi, Anastasia. Hi, Page Actress. Lori says I'm choosing to stagnate. Nice, same. Julie said hi, everyone. Hi, Julie. So literally like a minute ago, I was sharing my screen playing the Jay Van Andel speech. It was not playing. It was not working. I was getting really frustrated, and it was working like when I didn't have it shared. And then the moment I would share it in my StreamYard, it would freeze for like 10 seconds at a time. And I don't have a backup for this video. I quickly looked through my phone and like typed in an address of like one of these sites that I saw just scrolling on Facebook. So like we might just have to fly by the seat of our pants tonight if this video doesn't play, which it might not. Hi, Amanda. Lick the stream, not scream. Don't forget to switch to live chat. Thank you, Monica. Hi, Annetta. Hopefully this video works. I'm very frustrated while trying to prepare for this earlier. Like, it was not playing, and I was really mad. And this might not work today, but I really wanted to because I struggled to find a Jay Van Andel speeches, and I like this one. I think it's a good one, and I would really like it to work so we can like react to it together. I think I'll start with my face off the screen, and if it's just not working, then we'll do something else. Are we ready to rumble? Okay, let's go. Hopefully it plays.
And you have been for some time, the president and the general manager of your own business. Your business started very small, and it's growing bigger and bigger.
Sorry, Lori, I should have clarified that Jay Van Andel is one of the founders of Amway who passed away several years ago. Him and Rich DeVos started Amway when they were in their 20s after they served in World War II. And yeah, I didn't even say anything about who this friend is. And currently their son, the sons of the founders, I always forget, Doug DeVos and Steve Van Andel, they're like the main people who run Amway now. Yes, so past founder of Amway. No idea when this speech occurred. I think it was like the 80s, but I don't know if like him in this picture now is when he did the speech, because like in the 80s he would have been like 50, right? And so he could have been 50 here. I'm not sure, but let's see if this works.
And I'm sure that you are dreaming and hoping that it will become even bigger, because reaching and becoming a direct distributor is, after all, not a final goal, but only a door through which you are passing or a stop along the way.
So, friends, can we hear it? Okay. Like, he seems quiet on my end, but everything is blasted. So hopefully you guys can hear it. Please tell me if you can't hear it clearly. He's saying that all businesses start off small, which they do. And he's going to tell us about his own business building experiences with Rich when they were really young. And he's talking about the journey to being a direct distributor. Annetta or PH Actress, if either of you know what that means. I've asked this before in other streams on other channels, but I don't really know what being a direct distributor means. Like, does that mean Like, I've heard someone say in one of these old videos, like you get the product directly from the company, not your upline. If anyone knows, can you explain it? Is there a way to increase the volume? Okay, PH Actrix can hear it. Okay. No, no. I'm so sorry. I don't think there is a way to increase the volume. I apologize. But the closed captioning, it will be relatively accurate. Anastasia said it's good. Okay. The huge anime heroes. Everyone in the business praises them like gods. Exactly. This is why they're so fascinating to talk about. I'm going to try to keep my face on because it's been okay so far.
And although it seemed like a far-off goal at one time, it's now behind you, and you're going on to new goals and new successes. Now, a great many businesses, in fact, practically every business, starts small. And some grow, and some continue to grow, and some stop growing.
That is true. Anyone who's been a small business owner, if O watches the replay, I'm sure they would tell you that their Etsy shop does not just consistently grow and continue to expand. An average small business does have like dips and does increase in revenue in certain parts of the year, and that is a normal thing. And we know people in MLM like to use those normal changes in your business as a way in small businesses as a way to normalize really severe changes in your MLM business. It's like, oh, you just dropped 10 ranks and now you're making $100 a month. That's normal for a small business. You're just experiencing normal growing pains for your business. So you just have to persevere, because if you are starting your own small business and you have one bad month, chances are you are not going to just stop trying to expand your business because you had 1 month. You had 1 month where you didn't make any money. No, you're going to keep going because it's actually your small business. But in Amway, in any MLM, like, it's not your business. You are a salesperson. And if you're not making money in your sales job, it's totally fine and totally reasonable for you to seek employment elsewhere so you can actually pay your bills. Okay, PH Actrix can hear it well. Okay, sorry, Monica. Like, it's a old ass tape, and so like the audio is already kind of shitty. I'm sorry. And that's when you can hire people, not recruit them. Exactly. Okay, it gets to a high enough level in Amway that you can get products directly to you as opposed to having to buy them from your upline. Before Amway was online, you had. I'm assuming there'll be another one coming up. Hi, Heather. I just got off work. I saw you and Aaron were live and chose you. That's so nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is so kind. And thank you for joining. Woo. It is so dark here. Like, it is thundering and pitch black already, even though it's still super early. That's okay. I look kind of silly in my sunglasses in the dark, but...
Just because a business starts doesn't mean it's automatically going to continue to grow forever. Your direct distributorship is not automatically going to grow to a diamond direct distributorship or a double diamond direct distributorship or crown or beyond, unless you do certain things beyond merely watch it. And the first thing, I think,
no one assumes in their Amway business that their business is just going to magically grow just because you like sign up for Amway. I think majority of people in MLMs enter it with the assumption that they're going to do what they're told. They're going to try to work really hard, and they're going to like follow the advice of their uplines in order to make money. And the issue is here also like issue of not being clear with expectations and lying to bring people in. And so what do you expect if, oh my God, what was my point? You say like, oh, follow these systems, follow my advice, and then you will find financial success. So someone goes in, follows your systems, follows your advice, and then they're not finding financial success. So if it's not an automatic thing that your Amway business is going to grow, then maybe the distributor should be taught to say, if you follow my advice, you may or may not grow, right? And then that doesn't sound as appealing though. Like you may or may not find success. Okay, so before Amway was online, you had to write out paper orders and you ordered through your upline, you ordered through theirs, etc. Going direct is a huge milestone where you essentially become the big upline. Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you. I'm still waiting for the logo with the sunglasses, maybe an AI art generator. I will investigate that. I am not like creative or anything, so if I can't find something to do it for me, I won't be able to do it. But you won't grow in an MLM unless you're the lucky 1%. 0.99% won't grow or succeed. Exactly. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining. All IBOs in Amway get the products directly from Amway, but those in developing countries like Jamaica or even areas outside of North America buy products from a third-party distributor. Interesting. Thank you for that. I did not know that. Thank you. Who actually thinks any business will grow if you merely watch it? No one's saying that, right? Like no one would go into an MLM saying like, it's just going to magically grow and I'm not going to do anything. No. When you are a small pin/rank, your business is not really considered yours entirely. It's more your uplines. Interesting. So Sarah, this is one of the founders of Amway, Jay Van Andel, and he's doing an old speech, I'm guessing from approximately 1980s. He has passed away now, but now the oldest sons of the Amway founders, Doug DeVos and Steve Van Andel, they're the two who generally run Amway now. And our friend Jay's a little bit quiet. So if it's too quiet, see if you can like crank your speakers, or there are relatively like accurate subtitles here or closed captioning from YouTube.
That becomes so very important to you at this point as your business is growing is to remember one of the basic rules of all business, and that is that the first business of every business is to get and keep customers. Because a business that doesn't have customers has nothing. Now you say, now that sounds very simple. I know that my first business is to get and keep distributors and customers. But, you know, the problem is that things begin to get in your way. Things begin to get in your way.
How interesting. Our first job is to get and keep customers. But we know in Amway that translates to getting and keeping distributors. In any MLM, when one talks about their customer sales, in my opinion, I think that they're talking about the purchases of their downline who are required to meet certain personal volume requirements or are required to have a monthly auto ship. So he's technically not incorrect. You have to have your distributors who buy products in order to get their their volume requirements, so you can hit your ranks as well. So your upline can hit their ranks as well. So yes, sir, you are technically correct.
Bigger your business becomes, and you find yourself oftentimes spending less and less time at the very essence of what makes a business successful. Let me read to you a little story about going fishing, and I think you see what I mean. The fish were biting like mad. A few hours of fishing could be arranged by leaving at noon on Friday and arriving at the cabin by midnight and being at the log jam ready to fish at daybreak. It was no fun to go alone, so I invited Sam to go along to meet me at noon the next day. Then things began to get in the way. Little things, just ordinary things. So little one could brush them aside with a feather. But in the total, they build up to momentous proportions. Sam Ashton arrived 2 hours earlier and invited the families to go along without saying anything to me. My wife had to get her slacks from the cleaner. She then spent 2 hours hunting for her high-top shoes. Relatives dropped in unexpectedly for lunch. Then we had to wait for the children to get out of school. Groceries had to be purchased. We were finally on our way and halfway to the cabin by midnight. Daylight broke before we reached the cabin, and the girls insisted on stopping for breakfast. At the cabin, fires had to be built, the children fed, lunches packed, before we were at last in the boat and headed for the log jam. When we finally reached the log jam, we had just 1 hour's fishing. In retrospect, the fishing trip for the big walleyes that we're striking is very interesting. It's a laugh now, for on that weekend, we spent a total of 49 hours to get just 1 hour's fishing, because things got in the way. And Eric?
Okay, so he's using this story as a way to normalize things getting in the way of you succeeding in your Amway business. Like maybe your kids taking a long time to get ready is the same as like your spouse not approving of you being in Amway, or your dad calling it a scam, or you not being able to recruit anyone or sell a product because the products are way overpriced. But the difference is here, even though, say, and if this story is not totally fake, which it probably is, like, even though you only had 1 hour's worth of fishing, you still had memories with your friend. You still did something nice with your family. Like, you still brought your family up to a cabin, right? So it's not related, because in the Amway context, you could be losing money, you could be losing friendships and relationships and time. Like, sorry, my wires are pause. You could be losing time. You're never going to get time back with your kids, with your friends, with your spouse. It's a lot of a higher risk, things getting in the way in your Amway business versus things getting in the way for like a nice family trip. Does that make sense? Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, I missed a bunch of comments. Customers, not recruits. Yes, to sell things to actual retail customers, actual ones. Yes. Okay, Netta said I was my biggest customer. Right, PH Actress? So revolutionary. Real business owners don't buy their own merchandise to resell to people. If you recruit the entire planet, who is left to sell the products to? Aliens. In my first ever Amway stream, we did the Dexter Yeager 60 Minutes segment, and the host of 60 Minutes was like, well, if everyone's in Amway, who am I supposed to recruit into Amway? There'd be no one left to sell to. And he didn't say this, but like, who would be police officers? Who would be teachers? Who would be daycare workers? Who would be garbage people? We need people to do 9 to 5 jobs, and it's impossible that everyone in the entire world joins Amway. It's impossible. Right? It's all the wife's fault because she took some time to find her shoes. Ugh. I hate how storytelling is always used as a crutch. Yes, to distract people in MLMs and coaching from the shallowness of the teaching. Stories can be used to teach, but they abuse it. Sure, stories can be used to teach if it's actually relevant, if they're actually comparable situations where you can draw lessons from. In this case, they're not comparable. One, sure, you missed out on fishing, but you still had a nice time with your family and your friends. In the other, you're losing money and you're ruining your relationships.
Every one of the obstructions was just a little thing. This is what happens in a direct distributorship, too. The little things that get in the way of operating your business and of getting and keeping customers. Now, this brings me to the second little part of my advice to you as managers and operators of your business.
We are not managers or operators of our business, sir. You and Rich, you were actually like business owners, entrepreneurs, because you tried to open multiple businesses. You did open up your own flight school after World War II. You actually have a history of entrepreneurship. Amway distributors do not, unless they actually had their own business elsewhere. So they are not managers and operators of their business, sir, and you know this. Don't let real life things like grocery shopping get in the way of working your MLM business. And then Lori said, who needs food? Ugh. Don't spend time with your family and friends. You're not wrong. Amway is very patriarchal, and a lot of the leaders are religious fundamentalists. That is the ideology Amway was built on. We've heard some weird ass things from male Amway distributors about, like, in the 1996 video, I called it the most culty Amway video ever. They're like, we're looking for some good men and some good women to back them. And then that one of the men was like mimicking a woman responding to his questions, and he was like blinking and trying to look all like silly and not very intelligent. It's like, that's insulting. Even in 1996, it was not okay to talk about women like that.
And that is, in order to prevent things from getting in your way, it will be necessary for you to delegate, or you will stagnate. Delegate or stagnate. And remember, every business is filled with all sorts of necessary actions which are non-productive. And you'll get trapped into those yourself unless you are very careful. Things like picking up products at the warehouse, shipping to distributors, ordering products from Amway, printing and mailing bulletins, banking, records and bookkeeping, typing of letters, going to the post office, all that sort of thing. Done. But as your business gets bigger, if you do it, you spend more and more time doing that and less time getting and keeping your customers, and then your business.
You guys remember a video I did with Eric Worre? It was not a stream. It was a million years ago about like anything that is not, any daily tasks that are not worth at least $500 an hour, to hire it out, right? And so you have more time to focus on your business, so you will hire people to do your garbage, put gas in the car, clean your house, and that way you have more productive time, even despite the fact that majority of people at Eric's conference don't have money to hire someone to do every single household chore. In this case, Jay is telling us that in order for our business to grow, we need to be able to delegate these more boring, like, administrative tasks to other people so we can focus on getting and keeping customers. Exact same, very similar idea, very similar. We're supposed to delegate certain tasks to other people, despite the fact that we are losing money. We have no money, but we are supposed to delegate, or else we're not going to grow. And so I feel like this delegate or stagnate idea could be interpreted as, like, could be seen as, well, you're not making any money in Amway. Well, it's your fault because you are mailing out your orders and picking up products from the warehouse. You need to delegate, and then you'll make money. Then you'll make money. Then it's like, but I don't have money to delegate because I need to pay someone to do that. What do you think about that? Yeah, he's totally boring. What do we think about speeding him up? Because I was listening to him at like 1.75 speed. That was too fast. But what do we think about 1.25? I would be down to do that. Amway has to be the cultiest and the most cultist and dangerous out of all other MLMs. I agree. Completely agree. I have heard Amway Diamonds teach that men should hide things going wrong from their wives because they're gossipy and will destroy the business. That's great. We're telling people to lie to their spouses, to not share important financial matters with their spouses, even though the finances of one spouse is going to impact the finances of the other and the finances of the family. And so that kind of statement, like, that really makes it clear how Amway can really drive a wedge between spouses, because can you imagine if your spouse was going through some financial issues and it was really impacting your ability to take care of the house, take care of your kids and yourselves, but they didn't tell you for like months and months and months? That would be heartbreaking. So PH Actress said go for it. So we will move it to 1.25. Okay, Lori said it's fine with me. Good. I clock out of work. I enjoy my time off. Just thinking about being in an MLM is giving me nightmares. Zoom calls, wasting my money and time, pestering my loved ones. Same here. Okay, let me know how this is, and we can increase the speed or decrease the speed. He reminds me of the narrator of Davy and Goliath claymation cartoons from the 70s. That's so funny. I love that. So, hey, DC, it's so nice to see you. This is not going to be a super exciting stream. We're listening to an old speech from Jay Van Andel, probably from the 70s or the 80s, where he's telling us, Jay Van Andel is one of the co-founders of Amway, and he's telling us how we have to delegate tasks in our business, or else we're never going to grow. Oh, yes, I forgot about our spouses, Lisa. Didn't we learn that in Mary Kay? We learned that in Mary Kay, just like anything you're not required to do, get your spouse to do instead. Sarah, Larry Winters. I want to do a Larry Winters video. I wonder if I could find like audios on YouTube. Look, PH Atrix, this is the website, what am I trying to say? The channel name, Leadership Group International. When I'm done, I can show you guys the other videos. There's a lot of like seemingly older Amway audios on here. It's pretty cool. I'm glad I found it.
And then you wonder why. Conversely, if as your business gets bigger, you continue to devote every hour you can to getting and keeping distributors and retail customers, and delegating all these other non-productive details to someone else, then your business will continue to grow and expand indefinitely. I recall so well when Rich and I first went into our very first business venture. And as many of you know, that was the flying school. And flying schools right after World War II were highly competitive. Everyone was going into the flying business. And we had a lot of competition. And as we started out, we all started from the same position with one airplane and nothing much more. But as time...
Okay, there's a big difference between you and Rich starting a flying school and someone starting in Amway. You said we all started off in the same position. There's so many flying schools out of World War II. We all started in the same position with one plane. You could translate that into we all start from the same place in Amway. We all start at a level playing field, and it's up to us to grow our business from there. And we know that's bullshit. And in an MLM, people don't start off at a level playing field. There could be a variety of factors that may make it easier for one person to succeed in Amway and harder for another person.
Time went along, our little flying school became a bigger one. And our business grew larger and larger, and we began to outstrip our competitors until at one time, I believe we outstripped practically all of them in the area. Now, how did we do it? What was our secret? It was very simple. We couldn't fly. And because we could not fly and teach people to fly, we spent our time on the ground getting customers, while our competition was up in the air with one customer trying to teach them how to fly. And so we could get all sorts of customers before the competition could even get near them, you see. And that's when we learned our basic lesson, that in business, if you get and keep customers, you don't have to worry about all the rest. We could find all kinds of people to teach people to fly. We hired instructors.
It's also different. It doesn't matter if Rich and Jay did not know how to fly a plane right after World War II, because they had more control over the success of their flying school than someone does over the success of their Amway business. So they know they don't know how to fly. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter if you don't know how to fly, guys. All you need to do is hire people, and you have control over who you hire. You have control over the qualifications that your flying teachers, flying instructors have. You are in control. You are relatively in control over the success of your flying business, right? In Amway, we saw that in the Amway ranks video. Your success is based off of so many different factors. You have to maintain a certain volume. You have to have a certain number of people from certain parts of the world hitting certain ranks and maintaining those ranks for a certain amount of time. It's really hard. Your success in MLM has nothing to do with your own effort. It has everything to do with the effort and the ability of those beneath you hitting and maintaining a rank. Why am I getting mad? It's like the most chill speech ever, and I'm getting mad. Can't imagine the level of... Yes, I was just saying this level of stress and anxiety, knowing my livelihood depends on having a downline, knowing that it is a hamster wheel of recruitment, that my paycheck is dependent on other people. Exactly. I agree with you. If you're delegating so much, why don't you have any free time to enjoy life? If you need to forsake everything for the business, are you any freer than you were in your job? What's the point? Yeah. Yeah, because you're delegating so you can focus on getting and keeping customers, but you are still working 24/7. You're still showing the plan 5 to 6 nights a week, and you're still going to like 3 or 4 meetings a week. So true. And you're also using every social interaction you ever have as an opportunity to prospect. Everyone is seen as a dollar sign. So why doesn't all this delegation lead to time freedom for us? I love that. I can't imagine myself screaming at a bunch of people because they did not meet some sort of expectations or sales. Because of them, I did not get the bonus. Exactly. I totally agree. Let's keep going.
Structures. We had a dozen of them at one time. We could buy airplanes, but we couldn't find somebody to get the customer. Except us. There's a famous little story in...
No, we were doing so well and it wasn't stopping a bunch. So if it stops again, I might turn my face off. Let's try.
I think some of Dale Carnegie's books about Charles Schwab, who at one time, as you know, was the president of Bethlehem Steel Company. And once he was approached by a man by the name of Mr. Lee, who was trying to sell him his organization's service. Apparently, Mr. Lee came in while Mr. Schwab was busy and he was leaving very shortly, had to go on a trip, and Mr. Lee tried to get to him. And finally, Mr. Schwab said, well, I've got just a few minutes to listen to you. Tell me what it's about. Mr. Lee said, I've got a system by which you can manage your organization more efficiently and by which you will double and triple your efficiency and your business will grow and grow and grow beyond what it ever will if you continue to operate the way you may be doing now. Charlie Schwab said, well, I'm interested. Everybody likes to do something better. What is it? Well, Mr. Lee said, get out a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, list the 6 most important things that you should do tomorrow. Mr. Schwab got out his paper and wrote them down.
So, was it you, PH Actress said, wow, get and keep customers, so revolutionary. Now, wow, write a to-do list of the most important things for your business. Wow, we've never heard that before. But maybe all the friends in Mary Kay and Beachbody, they get all their shit from these guys indirectly anyways. But I'm sure Jay and Rich were not the first friends to ever tell people to make a to-do list for their business, right? Yes, they work more than a normal 9 to 5. Exactly. All the stories that don't actually have anything to do with truly finding sustainable financial success in Amway. Even in the military, I have time freedom. I have different work schedules throughout my career, and still I can enjoy my time off. Exactly. Totally.
Then Mr. Lee said, now put numbers in front of them. Number 1 for the most important, number 2 for the second most, number 3 down to number 6. Now tomorrow morning, you start out and you work only at that number 1. And when that's accomplished, then you can go to number 2. Now, there's no great secret here, except that most people get mixed up and they start on the bottom of the list, or they get it all mixed up. And the tremendous lesson here was that if you can't get to number 2, because number 1 takes too long, number 1 was the most important anyway, and the other ones weren't that important, you better get to number 1 finished.
That's not true. So he's saying if you don't get to number 2 on your list, it's because number 1 was most important. But what if your list, it wasn't clear if it's just for our business or if it's for our family too. But what if your first list is like close 5 customers on your list, right? And then it's no, it's not. It didn't take you all day to close 5 customers because it's the most important thing on your list. It's because it's an unreasonable, impossible task for you to complete. So that doesn't make any sense. And I wonder if it is just for our entire life, not just for our business, where do our family requirements fall on there? Because I bet you Jay and Rich would have told us to put all of, oh, do you hear the thunder? Oh, it's loud. I bet you Jay and Rich would have, Jay and Mitch would have told us to put the Amway business stuff at top and then our family stuff at the bottom. And so in my opinion, I feel like you would just inadvertently be neglecting your family's needs because you're told by your two saviors that you have to focus on the business all the time. I have my eye drops in my hand just in case. I like to put things I've already done on my to-do list so I can cross them off. I love that. Did you guys hear the thunder? It was really loud. Join an MLM if you want to work more and get paid less. Yep. I think they scream or are angry like we see in the Zoom calls because they're desperate. Yes, they're desperate and they know, in my opinion, that they have to be dishonest or else no one's going to want to join. Because if you say truthfully, I didn't make any money for 2 years and I worked 4 hours a day up until 2 a.m. every night, and I didn't make money for 2 years, but now I make $1,000 a month, no one is going to join if they know the truth of your MLM, of your experiences, of how much money you're losing. And so while I don't condone dishonesty and lying, I can empathize with people who are so dishonest and who lie to bring people into their business. Almost every MLM coaching speech boils down to the same 5 to 10 bare bones talking points. Yep. Yet people pay hundreds and thousands for it over and over. Love that. They're struggling, yes, but trying not to show it. And they're probably scared because they're losing money. They're probably wondering why, like, hey, I'm following the steps of my upline and I'm still not finding success. What's wrong with me? And maybe that insecurity with their selves could be like translated into being disrespectful and being deceitful to their downlines, right? They really expect people to agree to not make any money to hopefully make it in the future. Yeah. That's a great point. Work for who knows how long so you may or may not make some money later. This also shows how there are really no new tactics except for using social media. Yes, the rest has been around for many years. I love that because so many of the stuff we've seen in these older Amway videos, it's like directly parroted in modern day MLM speak now. Maybe not directly. It's changed over the years, of course. But yes, I feel like so much of what we hear now comes from Dexter, comes from Bill. Love that. Love that. Yeah, we all agree with you, Lisa. Hello, Timber Dan. Is that how to say it? Timber. Hello. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining.
The story goes on to say that some weeks later, Charlie Schwab sent a check to Mr. Lee and said, "This lesson has proven to be the most important we have ever had in the management of the Bethlehem Steel Company." And he gives it credit for building the Bethlehem Steel Company to the largest independent steel company in the world, a simple lesson of doing what is important in the business and not doing the other things or not worrying about the other things.
Majority of people in Amway don't have the privilege to not worry about those other things. I'm just thinking about people in this time, right, in like the 80s where like PH Actress, I can't say your name today, PH Actress said earlier, like, everything was done on paper. Everyone was mailed. Like all the products had to be mailed, right? In the 80s, many Amway distributors did not have the privilege of not doing that stuff themselves. Because what if their spouse worked? What if their spouse had other things they had to deal with, and so they weren't able to be the free assistant for the spouse in the business? Because oftentimes both spouses had to work. Even in the 80s and 90s, both spouses had to work, right? Not everyone had that privilege. And not everyone wants to do that too. The only new thing to happen to MLM is the internet, social media. Other than that, the sales tactics have not changed. And isn't that fascinating? Isn't that so interesting? I just logged on. Why does this voice sound like President Nixon? It's not President Nixon. That's so funny. It's one of the co-founders of Amway from like the 80s, maybe. Grift as old as time. I love that. That is so funny.
because the first business of every business is to get and keep customers. And
isn't that hilarious how it's like this company credits becoming the best steel company ever to the simple lesson of doing the most important things first. No, that's not why your steel company exploded, because that's obvious. Obviously, you should be doing the most important things first.
If we keep that in mind, this kind of activity, the ones that have to do with recruiting of distributors personally, of getting personal customers, of holding sales and training meetings, of group recruiting, of counseling with your distributors, developing and applying all sorts of motivational techniques. If you spend your time on that and no time on the other things, then your business will grow.
If you spend time counseling with your distributors and apply motivational techniques, then your business will grow. If you're around for the Clowntown video, the video I did with the Clowntown, the video is 953 BIB. One of the 9 core behaviors was counsel with your upline. And that just means you show up with your organizational chart, so your downline, and you show up ready to explain like what you did for your business that month. And then you and your upline will strategize together to figure out how to move your business forward in the next month. And it's expected that you do that once a month for approximately an hour. Not more than that, but it should be at least once a month. And then the motivational techniques is what you learn in the tapes like this. In my opinion, it's just the self-help motivational trash. And when we're done this video, I just want to quickly show you guys what other videos are on this channel. So if you're interested in like vintage Amway speeches, this channel is a good one for sure. You have to drive to your upline's house and pick up your downline's products and distribute them. So that's a whole ass other expense I didn't even consider. Like the gas to drive to your upline's house, and then the gas to like drive around to all your downline's house. What if they live in different cities? Or what do you know, in like the 80s, would your downline be like spread out throughout the state? Could you have downline members in another state, or was it generally like local to like your city? If you know, don't worry though, if you don't. At least that part has changed. There's lightning. Did you see that? Ooh. Oh my goodness. I'm not good with thunder and stuff, but we'll see. So that just startled me. I'll be okay. I might need to close the window though.
And on the other hand, if you get bogged down into all sorts of non-productive things, you may, as a bookkeeper, develop the best set of books in the business and find your business and your books only tell you that you're going broke. You may develop the best shipping and the best warehouse in the business, but find that the shelves get dusty because the product doesn't move. All because in doing so, you may have neglected the fundamental of getting and keeping customers. As a man by the name of George Gissing pointed out, I think, an interesting little twist in this matter of how we use our time in business. We've all heard the old cliche, time is money. Everyone said it, I'm sure. But he twisted it around and said, money is time. And that's so true in our business. Money comes from the way we spend our time. And it's, I think, of utmost importance in building an Amway distributorship larger and larger and larger.
Money comes from the way we spend our time. So if we don't do any of the required tasks at this time in our Amway business, if we don't do any of the mailing or the admin, then we will make money. We will like advance our business, but there's no guarantee. Just because you theoretically have more time to devote to getting and keeping customers doesn't mean that you will actually be able to succeed in doing that. Not just getting the customers, but actually keeping them. Hey, Ginny Jean, how's it going? Okay, gas was under $1. Interesting. Oh, thunder startles you too. I get scared. It startled me. It is. Even like it was under $1 a gallon, but like if you're doing that like multiple times a month, it could really add up. That's a great point. He sped up, right? He can put people to sleep. Thoughts on 1.5 speed? Let me know. Let me know if we can do it a little bit more. a little bit faster. Maybe it's just the audio quality. Yeah, it's elite. I'd say the 80s-ish. So yeah, it's definitely not good audio quality for sure. I don't really know what Nixon sounds like. What do you guys think? There's lightning. Okay, Lori agrees, Dan, and Lori remembers Nixon well, who was also a clerk, coincidentally. Simplicity like this gives people hope because the easy ideas make it seem like great wealth is in reach. It's more comforting than saying that in hard times your situation might be hard to change. Brilliant point. Brilliant. It's so easy. All I have to do is just simply not do any of the admin and just focus on getting and keeping customers. It's so easy. Anyone can do it, right? And then you're going to think that, like, that's all you have to do. There's nothing else that you have to worry about, and that you will just find success because you're going to follow his directions. Yes, did you listen to that? Don't focus on bookkeeping. Don't worry about that. Focus on getting and keeping customers. Of course, Jay Van Andel doesn't want us to do our bookkeeping because then we're going to realize we're in major debt. So I'm going to do 1.5 speed. Oh, oops. And then tell me if 1.5 is too fast. Okay? Sorry that he's boring, my friends, and thank you for hanging out. I know these aren't always the most exciting streams, but I like them. I think these videos are a bit educational.
I have a little saying here that picked up at one time. In every organization.
Fuck. Sorry for swearing. Okay, let's try again.
We find it's made up of 4 kinds of people. The wishbones, who spend all their time wishing.
Now the connection sucks. Now it's not working. The wishbones, who spend all their time wishing for things to happen. So these are the people that don't actually want to put in any effort. These are the people who just have a big dream of success, of financial well-being, but they're not actually willing to like do what their outline says, implement the systems of their Amway tool scam company, and go to all the conferences. I feel like that would be a wishbone. Sometimes your downline is spread out because it's easy to find new recruits away from where you live. But if you're in a tight-knit community, you may recruit those people so they'd be close by. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's horrible business advice. Keeping track of money is important in any business. I don't know anything about business, and even I know that. But no one in an MLM is going to tell you to keep track of your profit and loss, because then you're going to realize you're losing all your money, right?
Somebody else would do the work. The jawbones, who spend all their time talking but very little else. The knucklebones, who knock everything that everyone else tries to do. And the backbones, who get under the load and do all the work.
So the only good people are the backbones, who actually do all the work. And then there's the knucklebones, who just knock everything else, right? And so a knucklebone would be someone who is like, hey, upline, I don't like what you're telling me to do. I think it's unethical. I don't want to do it. That would be a knucklebone, right? What did he say a jawbone was? Do you guys remember? Is that just like someone who will talk about things but not actually implement? And then the backbone, that's the one who will actually like get their hands dirty and take messy action to find success in their Amway business. What do we think about 1.5 speed?
And that's probably true in an Amway organization as well. Someone once put it this way: the hard part of making good is that you must do it every day, and success depends upon the proper functioning of the glands, the sweat glands being the most important.
Success depends on the proper functioning of the glands, the sweat glands being the most important. That line of the different kinds of bones and the sweat gland might have been in one of my old streams. I think I called it like some Amway propaganda, where the sons of the founders were doing a segment called Into the Archives, where they listened to like a couple lines of old speeches of their fathers. And so I think that's where it's from. That's where I remember it from, because I remember this line. But what does that mean? Does anyone understand? Success is based off the proper functioning of the sweat glands. Does anyone understand? And which kind of bone would you be? Would you be the jawbone, the wishbone, the backbone, or the knucklebone? Which one would you be? My goodness. And the bonehead like him, right? Being in a tight community, wouldn't that cause saturation? Yeah. If you're in like a small town and everyone's recruiting for Amway, pretty soon everyone would be in Amway already. And the interesting part about MLMs is that like every new person who's recruited into Beachbody or Body, like that's now your new competition, and that's one less person that you could recruit into Beachbody now. So that's your competition, and then they're going to go and try to like recruit the same people into Beachbody too. And so every time someone new joins an MLM, the pool of potential prospects just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm moving furniture to get ready to shampoo my nasty carpet. Oh no. I'll just be listening from now. But don't forget to like the stream if you're enjoying the content. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, speed is fine. Dan said 1.5 is good. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. I call people who are all talk jaw jackers. I love the word jaw jacker. That's funny. I'm somewhere between wishbone and jawbone. Okay. You guys are so smart. That means if you're lazy, not willing to do what needs to be done, you won't get far. That makes sense to me. You have to work hard so you sweat. Oh. Thank you. I didn't understand. I was listening to it like 18 times today and I just didn't get it. Thank you.
As a manager and as president, general manager, chairman of your own business, you have joined the ranks of people that we call entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people who build, own, and operate their own business. It's been said about an entrepreneur that he'd probably rather be captain of a rowboat than first mate of a battleship. And that's why a great many people start businesses that are very small and are happy even though they may be small. But most entrepreneurs also dream, and they have ambition, because they are creators of business, but they also are after the rewards and are willing and have the courage to take the risks to get the rewards. I think we could
So a few of you have said that Jay and Rich were seen as gods, right? And they were just like held up on this pedestal. And what do you think about like if Jay standing up on stage calling you an entrepreneur, calling you the president and the general manager of your business, do you think people actually believe it? Like, do you think coming from Jane Ridge, it would have like a lot of legitimacy? Do you think that could flatter someone? Like your average Joe sitting in the audience, and then these famous celebrities in Amway are calling you an entrepreneur. We've also seen past videos of Rich on my channel talking about how he loves everyone in the Amway family. And I just can't help but think, like, what if someone doesn't have someone who says they love them? What if someone doesn't have a supportive family or a supportive partner, and then they're here with 10,000 other Amway distributors with their idol telling them that they love him? And then could that make someone more susceptible to staying in Amway for a lot longer when they're considered to be part of the Amway family by their idol, by celebrity Rich DeVos? What do you think? Also, can't recruit from another MLM. Can't recruit children. Yep. This is just a more old-fashioned way of saying you have to work hard in order to be successful. Thank you. I didn't understand. More useless naming. That makes people feel like they're learning something special when it's a lot of nothing. Yeah, all these like wishbone, jawbones, all the different stories. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like it's some amazing, brilliant, unique lesson where they probably just made this up like an hour before, and we're not actually getting any true like tangible tips of how to advance our business. I just want to look at this text here. I should have read it earlier. While the techniques and approaches suggested here work for others, no one can guarantee that these techniques and approaches will work for you. We hope, however, that the ideas presented here will assist you in developing a strong and profitable business. These materials have been published independently of Amway. For more information or to take the next steps, please contact the person who connected you with this audio. So it's like their own income disclaimer. Like just because you delegate doesn't mean that you're actually not going to stagnate in your business. Yep. It's very easy. Yes, exactly. There's so much doublespeak in MLM. Working hard does not matter. The system is made for you to fail. Success depends on earning more than you spend, period, sweat or no sweat. Love that. Love that. Love that. Saturation happens quickly in close-knit communities like Mormons or immigrant communities like in Herbalife, but belief keeps people involved. Yeah, like those who are in a more vulnerable financial state, right? Like if you're a brand new immigrant, chances are you may or may not be, did you say immigrant? Yeah. You may or may not be like, you may not have had a chance to establish yourself financially yet, right? And you like aren't in the workplace yet. And you're really wanting to provide your family and your spouse with a really great life in your new country. And I could see how the promise of financial success and vacations and time freedom could be really appealing. So I'm not verbalizing things.
Probably classify people in the world in two broad classifications, one of which I would describe as thermometers. Thermometers are gauges that record environment. And there are people like that. They record the environment. They get all heated up, but they don't do anything about it. A thermometer conforms. It becomes just like the air around it, but nothing happens. Opposed to that are the thermostats. Now, the thermostat also records the environment, records the heat or the cold. But a thermostat does something about it. It puts into operation the various latent forces that bring about a change. And I think you, as successful direct distributors, undoubtedly belong to that classification of people who do things. And you are seeking other people, and you brought them in your organization who do things.
Does everyone have to have a dumb name? So you're either a thermostat, no, a thermometer or a thermostat, because a thermometer just gets heated up and does nothing about it, and thermostats actually change the temperature. So now we're labeling ourselves as things that contribute to the heat or the cold of a room, of a house, of a building. So we have to aim to be a thermostat. So what have we learned so far? We have learned we have to delegate the boring tasks and not stagnate. We have learned that we should not do bookkeeping. We have learned we need to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. What else? Oh, we have learned we should not be a jawbreaker or a whatever breaker, but we should be a knuckle breaker. I don't even know. What are all these breakers? Like, it's all so confusing. There's so many analogies in this that, like, they're all kind of like merging together. The text you just read is stated at the end of every audio to cover their asses. And leadership team development, at least, can't speak to the other approved providers. Is that Larry's? Is that Larry's Amway Tool Scam Company? If so, do you know of any publicly posted content, like a YouTube video or a website that would be fun for a video? Because I've been looking for leadership team development stuff, and I can't find any. And yes, everyone has to have a silly name. Yep. Nonsensical analogy. I've heard that disclaimer at the end of tape CDs hundreds of times in the car. That was a core memory. Is it like written in the exact same way, or is there some variations? I've heard that analogy so many times. Thermostat versus thermometer. It does work. You're right. It does. It makes sense. I understand. But it's so silly. It's just so silly. I thought so. I get confused between. Is there a Paul? Who is Paul Leslie? Is that who it? Paul Leslie. Paul Leslie? Is that who it is? Paul Miller. Paul Miller, and Leslie is his wife, not Paul Leslie. I always think Paul Miller and Larry Winters are the same person, but they're not. And I've done Paul Miller videos before, so I know they're not the same person, but I get confused. I still claim my rank Rainbow Unicorn, Ruby Diamond. Learned is a pretty strong term here, right?
And you have, and I congratulate you on this, the qualities
No.
of successful entrepreneurs. One basic quality of a
No.
successful entrepreneur is the ability to recognize a trend, to ride the crest of a wave. You showed that when you became an Amway distributor, because somewhere at that time, maybe it was a little hazy, but somewhere you saw the possibility of making your dream come true, whatever that dream might have been.
So we are true, like, successful entrepreneurs because we saw the potential of Amway being the tool, the vehicle for us to make all of our wildest dreams come true. And that kind of statement can, like, makes it more apparent why, like, immigrant communities may see an MLM as a way to quickly establish their families in a new place, because you're sold an MLM by saying you're going to have quick success, you don't have to work much, and you will have financial freedom. And so I can imagine someone who's just arriving in a new country, they don't want it to be years and years and years before they're able to provide for their families, and they would want something a little bit quicker, which makes sense, right? And maybe it's hard for some people to get a job, and so I could see why one might be pulled into an MLM through false promises and lies. Yes, LTD is Larry's. Totally. Exactly the same, word for word. So it's the same? Interesting. Woo. Oh, that's so cool. Brit Worldwide. So any of the videos we've done with Bill Britt, and also the one that I did with the Clown Town, it was Ganesh Shenoy. Ganesh and Bill are part of Brit Worldwide, and also Paul Leslie, Rocky Covington, and Bobby and Priscilla Harris. All of those people are affiliated with Brit Worldwide. And you get them confused because they all say the same crap. Yeah. Another name that's huge in LTD and in Amway is Joe Markowitz. He is currently the president of the IBOIA. I'm just going to take a picture because it's going to take me a minute to actually, like, type that out. So I'm going to take a picture of Joe Markowitz, and I'm going to research that. Thank you. Someone left a comment on one of my Amway videos suggesting I look into Bill and Peggy Florence. Does anyone know who Bill and Peggy Florence is? I will do some research, and maybe we'll do a video on them.
Perhaps the dream was not very big at that time, and perhaps it was only a glimmer that maybe Amway might make it work. But you saw this, so you were willing to become an Amway distributor. And even after you became an Amway distributor, you may have gone through a period of certain amount of inactivity before you finally got the light and began to move. You may have marked time for some months, in some cases even a year or more, before the message finally got through. But another trait of a successful entrepreneur carried you that.
So it may have taken you years and years to fully buy into the mission of Amway, and you may have signed up and then not done anything for years because, yeah, you weren't fully bought in yet. And we hear that constantly, like, your sign-up date and your start date is often different because you're not fully ingrained in the MLM family yet.
That far, and that was aggressiveness, ambition. Ambition is one of the basic traits of success. I like the story about a fellow in New York who was seen going into second-rate office buildings, asking to rent some offices. And he'd look around and look at the offices and check with the manager. Then he'd ask the manager if he could see the elevator. And when he looked at the elevator, he'd look at it and say, boy, that elevator's in bad shape. In fact, it's in such bad shape, I wouldn't ride in it. And it must be that if your elevator's in such bad shape, the entire building must be in bad shape, must be badly managed, and I guess I'm not interested in renting. And he'd leave. A couple of days later, his partner would come along. He sold elevators. That kind of ambition, they got things done, you see. I think also, as successful entrepreneurs, you have shown.
What's the point of that? So there's a story about a contractor in a building, and the elevator was so shitty, so he didn't want to work with that building. What's the connection there? And he's like, oh, see that ambition. So maybe like that person wasn't going to accept that job because the elevator was shit, and so we should expect more for a business. What do you think? I that's another thing I don't understand. The only reason I know of certain names like JLW or Ray is because of this community. I was completely unaware of their existence in the real world. The only one I knew before joining the anti-MLM rabbit hole is Tony Robbins. All the big groups started from one group but splintered off repeatedly. It's part of what keeps the Amway tool scam from dying / collapsing. So would that be the Jaeger group? Was Dexter the first one to have his own Amway tool scam company? It was a setup to get them to buy a new elevator. Okay. Are you joking, or is that actually the point of that story? I don't understand it. It's a con to sell. Literally, it's a con to sell elevators. I completely missed that then. Thank you, Ginny Jen. I appreciate that.
The ability to dream. And your dreams, I'm sure, have gotten somewhat bigger as you have tasted of success in your Amway opportunity. Because you see, you have what every dreamer would love to have, the means to make the dreams come true. I once heard
in Amway, you have the means to make the dream come true. So Amway is not just a job, but Amway is like the vehicle for you to achieve your dreams. And we hear that kind of talk a lot in MLMs now. Like, you want financial freedom, you want more time with your family. So Monate, so Beachbody is the one vehicle that can get you there. Ginny's right, con. Moral of the story, a lot of people. He said the elevator sucks so that when the guy selling elevators comes along, they'll pay for the elevator where they may not have without the first guy insulting the elevator. The two guys are working together. I completely missed that. Thank you. Wait, to sell actual physical elevators, or am I having a dumb moment? I'm lost here. So, yeah, like to actually sell elevators. So the two guys were working together, right? And so, like, the first guy would say, oh my God. The first guy would say the elevator sucks. And so then the second guy who's like selling elevators would come and the first guy would buy an elevator. So like the two guys are working together to make the guy in the office buildings feel like their elevator sucks when it actually doesn't, right? It's literally glorifying a con game. Why are we glorifying lying and being deceitful and like cheating people out of their money? Because that's another business owner or like a manager of a business that you're lying to. Like, why are you glorifying that? That's a great point.
The man put it this way. He said, whatever the mind can conceive, man can achieve. And I like that. That feeling that your dreams, if you can dream them, you can make them come true with your Amway opportunity. We received a little letter one time from a distributor, which had, I thought, a fitting closing thought. She said, one Saturday night while glancing through the paper, I came across this. It goes like this. When a man has seen a light or has been possessed by a dream or has been captured by an ideal, he must not rest until that light or that dream or that ideal can be shared with his fellow men. He dare not hold the treasure for himself alone, or it'll disappear as dewdrops in the sunlight.
So this person has a dream, has a light, and it's his duty to share the dream, and he must not hold it for himself. That's like current day MLM speak when we hear Beachbody coaches talk about how you're selfish if you don't share the opportunity with all your family and friends. And you don't know if the mom down the street is like praying and wishing for what you have. So how dare you be nervous or feel anxious about talking to people in person or online about your opportunity? I don't remember exactly who started it. I believe when the idea was pitched to Bill and to Dexter, Dexter said no and Bill went for it. And Dexter came around to it somewhat later, but I might be off. Interesting. Sean Munger did a whole ass like documentary on the history of the tool scam. I watched it like a year ago, but if anyone were to know, he would. And so maybe I'll go and like listen to that tomorrow while I work.
And I think this essentially is Amway, isn't it? An excitement that we share with many others. In our sharing, they and we all grow together. We hope that this excitement will continue with you for all the years in the future. God bless you.
We hope this excitement will continue for you in all the years of the future. Okay, so I just wanted to show the videos on this channel because it's interesting and cool. He's not wrong. Scammers can be very smart and ambitious, but they're also dishonest and apathetic or even sociopathic. They get by rejecting morality. Yeah, very true. Very true. You do have to be creative to be a con man, right? But you do, just like an MLM. It's not the exact same, but like an MLM, you have to ignore your ethics and your morality to continue to perpetuate a business model that you know is failing the majority of people. I've done this before, and I did a decent job. So, separate to Amway Corporate, but affiliated with Amway, there are a variety of different companies that house Amway educational materials. Back in the day, it used to be tapes. Now it's like websites, access to phone applications, and there are conferences, and there are books. And you purchase these products, these services through this website, and the profits of you purchasing Amway motivational educational materials does not go to Amway, but instead it goes to the leader of that Amway organization, the affiliated Amway organization. On my channel, we've done Brit Worldwide, we've done Worldwide Dream Builders. What else? We did Crador Global. We did Network 21. So does that make sense? They're separate from Amway, but they're not at the same time. And they sell books and resources to help you succeed in your Amway business. Anyone who knows more than me, PH Actress, Annetta, if you're still here, Dan, if you're still here, feel free to add to that. I'm sure I missed something. I agree. It was fantastic. You're welcome, Lori. I hope that made sense. So here is the website, the YouTube page. We believe that the Amway business is by far the best business opportunity available to the masses. Here we honor the legacy of the pioneers, great people of colossal character. The world would certainly benefit from more of their likeness today. Here, head to the playlist to find your favorite speaker. Please contact the person that linked you to the LGI channel to book an appointment to learn more. Okay, let's go back. Of course, we hope the excitement continues. Without the excitement, IBOs have nothing else, right? In other words, getting you to spend more money for their gain. So people in, like, when Bill Britt was alive, like, he was making money in the, like, his Amway downline within the Amway compensation plan. But, like, there are sources that say the majority of the top distributors' wealth did not come from their downline, not come from the compensation plan, but came from their Amway tool scam companies. Yes, approved provider. Thank you. And is it also like Amway Motivational Organization, like an AMO? I've seen that acronym, but it might be old. Okay, so we know of Bill Britt. So there is a speech here, $1 Million Business, Dexter Yeager, John and Jenny Bell Crow, another Bill Britt. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Monica. That is so nice. Woohoo. So I did do the steps I need to do to actually get a YouTube paycheck. And now they're emailing me a code where I have to mailing me a code where I have to verify my address. And then I could get a YouTube paycheck. So thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You are so kind. So here is Dave and Jan Severn. I don't know who they are. Free Enterprise Day 2002. That was the setting of our super culty Amway video. So maybe we'll do that. Lots of Dexter Yeager. Lots of Bill Britt. Rich DeVos, Man's Material Wealth, 1976. Ooh, we need to do that one. We've done lots of Rocky Covington. So Founders Fundamentals, I feel like we've talked about that before. So tons of Bill Britt. Get Rid of the Loser's Limp, Dexter Yeager. Yeah. We just watched Delegate or Stagnate, James Rohn. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, we've done a Bob Andrews video. We've done Bob Andrews. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a crap ton of videos on here. There's another Jay Van Andel. There is a baby Doug. He looks very young here. Yeah, like how cool is this? 1995. We the People. That is an intense speech. I was like, oh, I can react to that. No, I can't. I can't. So look at all this content. Isn't that awesome? So yeah, there's going to be more videos coming from this channel for sure. Okay, let's look at some comments. The tool scam keeps Amway alive, successful, but also takes money away from it. And the tool scam couldn't exist without Amway as an entry point. So a relationship is strained between the two. Love that. You're right. They can't exist. The tool scam can't exist without Amway. Very true. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're so nice. So nice. It's like MLM coaches making more money than the reps in the MLM. Yes, 100%. Also, at least in LTD, once an IBO reaches the platinum level, they start to get kickbacks from LTD. I've wondered about that. So people who are like directly like in what's his name? Paul, what's the guy's name? I always get them confused. The one who runs LTD, like if they're in his direct downline, do they benefit from his company or not? But you're saying like allegedly they get kickbacks once they get to a certain rank. That's fascinating. Fascinating. Thank you for telling us that. You get, yes, AMOs, yes. BWW, LTD, etc. are all AMOs. Bye, Lori. See ya. There's so many audios in the LTD system that could keep us busy for a long time. Yes, Larry Winters. I got so confused. Larry Winters, Paul Miller. Larry Winters, Paul Miller. Yes, thank you. Once you hit platinum, you make a small portion of money from tools. At Emerald, you get a massive chunk of tool profit. I didn't know that. Fascinating. Oh my goodness. Bye, Rachel. See ya. Thank you for telling me that. I've been wondering about that for a long time. And also like how many levels up, how many tool scam companies do you have to affiliate with at the same time? Because like, what if your upline has a tool scam company and then your upline's upline has one and then somewhere up in your lineage has one too? Like how many are you affiliated with? How many do you have to buy the products of? Oh, fascinating. So Dan, Page Actress, if you like are aware of any like information or like research or something that would be cool for me to know about Amway, feel free to send it to me there. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm always interested in learning more about the Amway tool scam. In addition to the tools, you get paid for speaking. Woo! Fascinating. Cool. Thank you. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was awesome to have so many people hang out with me. I loved it. I had a lot of fun, and thank you for listening to a Jay Van Andel speech with me. I'm going to go live again at the same time on Friday. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Don't know what I'm going to do, but if you're free on Friday, I would love to see you guys. If not, you can catch the replay. Yes, it's very juicy. I totally agree. And before I go, thank you to Monica for a super sticker. That was very, very lovely of you. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you guys, Dan said allegedly. Yes, allegedly. I hope you guys all have a great night. And I'll see you on Friday. Bye.